Your brain is lying to you. Not everything that you hear is true all of the time. So often we have this negative voice in our head that is controlling us, and our thoughts are what create our reality and the current life that we're experiencing. If you have thoughts about yourself that I'm just not confident enough. I'm not ready to do that. I'm not willing to X, Y, and Z. You need to learn how to challenge your belief system. Because if I listened to every negative thought that came into my head, I would be nowhere in life. Let's take I'm not ready to do that. So you need to ask yourself, why do I think that? Why do I think I'm not ready to do that? And you need to be logical with yourself. So often when we have these negative thoughts, our brain just goes to emotion. We feel, oh, I'm not worthy. Oh, I feel guilt and shame. Oh, smaller, smaller, smaller. None of that anymore, okay? You need to be like, listen up, buddy. Why the hell are you telling me that? Because I've done X, Y, and Z in this field of expertise that proves to me that I am ready for that. If you think that I'm not ready for a speaking engagement, you need to go back and listen to all of my podcasts where I've publicly spoken. You need to go back to high school when I've publicly spoken in front of hundreds of people. You need to go back to the evidence. We get into our feelings and we forget the evidence. We get into our feelings and we forget how capable we are to do things in this life. Any negative thought that you have, any negative belief that you have, look for the evidence in your past of you succeeding at that thing. Do not listen to the negative beliefs. We assign the meaning and value to the things that are occurring around us. So you could take that thought of I'm not ready and you could say, oh, that's just my brain trying to protect me because new things are always perceived by the brain as scary. And in reality, like, I know I've got this. And you need to go like boss mode on your brain sometimes, and you need to argue with those thoughts. If there's a statistic out there, and I reference this all the time because I think it's a great example, and I think a lot of women need to hear this. There's those statistics like, men cheat and men would cheat if they had the opportunity, and if men had more options, and, all of that negative conditioning out there. And I'm not here to argue with you guys about that. I'm here to say to you, it does not matter what is happening in the world on a grand, larger scheme, because what matters is how you feel and believe about that thing. If you say to yourself, okay, so that's the belief system out there in the world, but let me look at my life for a second. My father has always been loyal to my mother. None of my ex-boyfriends have cheated on me. My current boyfriend would never and has never. So maybe that's not true. And oh yeah, that reminds me. My friends are also in a bunch of marriages where they have loyal partners. And oh yeah, that reminds me that all of my mentors are in relationships with loyal men. So when you actually think about your current reality on a day-to-day, you can challenge those so-called, worldly statistics. And you need to understand that nothing outside of you can cause change to your internal world if you are strong about your internal world. So another example is if, the economy is bad, or it's not a good time to buy a house right now, or blah, blah, blah. You don't need to listen to any of that. You can challenge your negative beliefs. And you could say, well, actually, like, that's not true because my friend is making like $500,000 a day. So, like, if the economy is bad, like, that doesn't really match up, right? So get into this habit with yourself of arguing with anything that is not in alignment with the life that you want to create for yourself. If you have your rule book and your guidebook that says, okay, this is my life, this is what's happening, I believe this about this, I believe this about this, I believe the economy is good, I believe men are loyal, I believe I can have whatever I want in this life. That is your guidebook. That is your rule book for life. And anything that you see that is not in alignment with that, you can disregard it. You can disregard it. We've all disregarded something in our lives. Like, when you're taking a test in high school and the teacher says, "Oh, I messed up question number 7, so just cross it out, just disregard that question, just go from 6 to 8 and just disregard question 7." You can do that. You can disregard question 7 when it comes to a test. Why can't you disregard the negative beliefs that are trying to change your reality in a bad way? Why can't you do that? When it comes to other people, you can disregard things just fine. But when it comes to yourself and your own belief system, you need to learn how to disregard the things that are not in alignment with the reality that you want to create for your life. And yeah, you could look a little bit delusional. And I've had so many people be like, Meg is just living in her own little world, and Meg is so out of touch with reality. And wow, it's crazy that you think that. Yeah. And whose life is better? Sorry, whose life is better? Mine! My life is better because you are letting those negative thoughts change what you think. And therefore, when you change what you think, you change what you see outside of you. So, this is your reminder, guys. Just figure out what your blueprint for life is and don't listen to anything that's not on your blueprint.